This may be rather surprising, but it was only a few weeks ago that I went speed dating for the first time. Look, I can certainly see the appeal. I mean, you've got 10 minutes to make a lasting impression. It's either a case of a tantalizing tease or, I guess, a grateful getaway. Fair to say my attention was pricked. And what's amazing is that it's really good for my ego, but I think she feels the same way. We've decided that we would have a chance at a second date, a more meaningful connection, I suppose. I'm just hoping she's not going to mind a dirty weekend in the Cape. I know, we are not meant to judge a book by its cover, but I mean, let's be honest. If it doesn't grab your attention, why would you even want to turn the first page? This is something that Range Rover has done really well. They've taken, over the years, a big, uninspiring box and somehow managed to make it appealing. What they've done is they've taken that recipe and added a lot of spice with the Velar. But you know, for me, it's really not about the looks. What's important is what's inside. I'm serious. I mean, that is what's important. The inside. Wow, the interior of the Velar literally is a work of art. It is just beautiful. I don't want to use the word stripped down because that just sounds cheap, and as you know, Range Rover certainly isn't that. I don't want to use minimalist either because that belongs to the Swedes and Volvo. And there is quite a bit of Volvo going on here, the floating dash and obviously the reduction of buttons. But what Range Rover have done is come up with their own term, and it's a beautiful one: reductionism. They've reduced all the unnecessary buttons and dials and optimized all of it into this mothership. Their Touch Pro Duo is what they're calling it. You've got two 10-inch touchscreens. This is kind of familiar because that we've always had before, and a lot of manufacturers have it with your navigation and your phone and your media on that. But this is what is critical. They've gone and put all of your information, your all-terrain response, your climate control, your seat functioning, your vehicle dynamics, all sitting on this touchscreen. And these buttons all then serve dual purposes. So when I toggle this and go into my various driver modes, or I use my climate control, I'm using the same switchgear. They've cut it down to reduced it to a bare minimum, but it just looks so beautiful. The designers call it the blade because it is so super thin. But what I love is how it links up into everything in the car. The driver has a 12.3-inch virtual screen, which again I can optimize. So I can put my information in the middle with my traditional dials. I can go into full map view as well. But the nice thing is whatever I'm doing here links up to my driver display and obviously the other touch screen as well. But they've even carried it through to the steering wheel functions. Your buttons here are intuitive to the feel, so all of that is integrated into this incredible system, and it literally is so beautiful. The Velar obviously comes with Jaguar Land Rover's lightweight all-aluminium technology and shares a platform with the F-Pace, a car that we absolutely loved. but their personalities are very different. Obviously, the Jaguar is lending on the racing pedigree of the brand, whereas for the Velar, it's Range Rover's off-road capabilities, and it is noticeable in how the cars manage themselves on road. Obviously, an air suspension makes a massive difference too. It's not standard on the entry levels, but we in the 3-litre diesel, and that comes with air suspension, and it makes for an unbelievably luxurious drive, but obviously also enhances the Velar's off-road capabilities. Something for me that I do love, and you're going to use a lot more, is the fact that it's got an entry mode. So literally the air suspension lowers 40 millimeters to make it a lot easier to get into your Velar. In terms of the engine offering, again, Jaguar's Ingenium engines are across the board. There's a 2-litre petrol and diesel and a 3-litre petrol and diesel, but the one that we're in is the one to buy. 221 kilowatts, 700 newton meters. You do not need more than that, and for a diesel it also sounds really good. What is clever is that Range Rover has made this the most personalized car to date. So even if you do find yourself in the entry level, you can optimize it and style it according to your taste, which is pretty cool. For me, obviously, driving a car, this is what it comes down to, is the steering wheel. It's what keeps you connected to the road, and they've made that experience even more tactile. I mean, these little dials usually on a steering wheel are pretty dull and boring. This backlit, intuitive to the touch. My hands never need to leave the wheel. I'm always connected to the drive. I'm engaged 100%. Beautiful car to drive, really good. I think Range Rover have themselves a little problem here, because they are going to have to change the name of the Range Rover Sport. I mean, Sport is such a name. I mean, everyone's got a sporty version. Velar, that is a name for a car. It sounds like it could be the god of sport. Now, we know the Velar fits between the Evoque and the Range Rover Sport. Are people going to choose this over Range Rover Sport? I think no. We know people are buying these vehicles based on status, and when the new Range Rover Sport comes out, the interior and the design DNA is going to follow through to that new model as well. But the Velar has filled a very important gap for Range Rover, because the step up from size from the Evoque to the Sport was a massive one, and there was a huge market just begging to be filled with a car that looks like this. It's difficult to talk about price. I mean, the Velar starts at just under R1,000,000, but it is the most personalized Range Rover to date. From wheels to colors to fabric choices inside, you can design a Velar specific to your taste. So it literally could cost you anything. We're talking between R1,000,000 and 1.5 over here. The other thing for me, we know that Range Rover was always about luxury but capabilities. This car can literally go anywhere and everywhere. Are you going to take a car that looks this good with an interior like that, bundabashing and into mud? Probably not. So it's almost like the Range should become the urban Rover, because that is where it dominates.